Welcome to the Football Fun Factory podcast. It is season 3, episode 1, and as you can tell, I am hosting it today because I am the judge. It is my time to be the judge, the dreaded judge. I have to wear the wig, wear the gown, which I'm not looking forward to. However, in today's podcast, I am looking forward to going through today's topic, which is all around, should coaches wear initials on their jacket? JC, what are your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts.
There you go, very good.
Initial thoughts are, it depends on who they're coaching and what level they're coaching at.
Interesting. Chaddy, one line of thoughts before we put this topic on trial.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fine.
Cool. Right. Let's see what... I'm going to give these two statements out in a minute and let's see what you argue then. Let's put it on trial. It's my first time doing it, guys.
That's excellent.
Thanks. So for anyone watching, you will now see me dressed up as the judge. What are you saying, gents?
It looks absolutely fantastic, John.
I think it looks better on you than it did on me and James. The hair is sublime.
Guys. I really appreciate it. Cheers. So as the judge, I now get to hand out the two different statements. You guys obviously don't know what are on these cards, so I'm going to hand them out to you. And you have to argue the point on the card, whether you believe it or not. Sorry, Chad. Didn't pass that very well. And then we're going to put this on trial. So, James, would you like to read your opening statement, please, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. Coaches within grassroots football should always have their initials on their tops. It has so many benefits for coaches, players and parents. It's a must.
Nice. Pretty cool. Chad?
Yeah, I'm at the other end of the spectrum. It is ridiculous that grassroots coaches have their initials on their tops. Who do they think they are? Sir Alex? We must put a stop to it.
Cool.
Did you add the Sir Alex bit in? Because you played under him, didn't you?
Any chance?
First time I ever read the card, I didn't know. We never know the opinions before that we read the card.
Yeah, I didn't know if you added that bit in yourself.
No, it says it on there.
Cool. You are pretty good at name dropping though, Chad. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to put this topic on trial. So, James, you've obviously read your opening statement. Can you now tell us a little bit more? And then, Chaddy, I want you to put him on the stand.
Sure. I think this is really simple. I don't think anyone could possibly disagree that all coaches should have their initials on their clothing because there's just so many benefits. First and foremost, if you turn up to a training session, imagine you're a young child playing football for the first time. You have no idea who the coach is, but what you do know is that his name's Luke Chadwick. Nice. It can't be the Luke Chadwick, but then you see a fella across the AstroTurf or across the rec with LC emblazoned on his top, and then you go, there's our man, Luke Chadwick. So you go across and you have a chat, and obviously it makes the whole situation a lot more comfortable. The coaches themselves feel like $1 million because they get to feel, like they are the coach, and I think it's really important that they in some way showcase the fact that they are coaching in exactly the same way that the players wear their shirts and have their numbers on the back. I think it's really important that the coaches have their initials emblazoned again on their tops. And then for the parents as well, just to really recognise and kind of put everybody in their place, that the coach is an incredibly important member of the team, really is the leader of the team. Without them, there would be no grassroots football. So it's important that the coaches know who's in charge, who's directing traffic within the session. So I think it's very important that everyone has their initials emblazoned on their
And
tops.
that's a hat trick.
Thank you.
Chaddy?
Yeah, so obviously you say there's so many benefits. I think you named 2. I think one of the reasons you named twice in terms of having the initial there and knowing what it was. Like in terms of sort of having the initial there, you would imagine that the vast majority of the children know who the coach is, and it's surely it's just an egotistical thing having your initial on your top. Everyone knows who it is. That's the coach. So I just don't understand. Can you take me through it a little bit more? Some of these more of the benefits that you talk about.
Yeah, I think the way in which you interpret things can vary person to person. We can sit there, we can see Ollie behind the camera. He's got Nike across his top. It's not because he's egotistical or arrogant. It's just that he that's what's on his top. In exactly the same way you're wearing your Superdry top today. It's just the brand that you're wearing. the brand that the coach is wearing is their personal brand. So if I had a JC on my top today, that's just saying who I am. It's just being helpful. And if anything, it's the opposite of egotistical or arrogant. It's being helpful and supportive.
So obviously you mentioned sort of super dry Nike on people's tops, very different to initials, and then you sort of go on to say that it's the initials to grow the coach's personal brand. And
no.
Sorry, I
think
misunderstood.
Completely misunderstood.
Yeah, sorry.
So I think it is their personal brand because it is their identity. So in the same way that you have your identity with what you've come wearing today, exactly the same as a coach has their identity. They have the club's badge. There's no argument against why you shouldn't have the club's badge on your top, and there's no argument against why you shouldn't have your initials blazoned on your top.
Right, well, let's see if there's an argument as to why you shouldn't have your initials. Chaddy, can you tell us a little bit more about your statement?
Yeah, would you like me to remind you of the statement?
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Excuse me, I'm the judge. That'd be great if you could remind the court, please.
That'd be great.
Is that okay?
No, it won't be great. Don't do it.
It is ridiculous that grassroots coaches have their initials on their tops. Who do they think they are? Sir Alex? We must put a stop to it. I mean, for me, I just don't see the point. You got a top there, like you rightly say, James. You've got the club's badge, who you're coaching for. The initials is just there, as if to say, I'm the next Jose Mourinho. Look at me, I've got my initials on my top. It makes me feel special, important. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just think in terms of children's football coaching, the kids know the coaches. They don't need their initials on there as well. Come on.
Okay, so just in that scenario that I described, so if the coach was Jose Mourinho and he had a HM on his top.
Very good.
Did it, Joe? No, go on. Sorry.
And you turned up to training. In that scenario, can you not see that a child nervous attending their first ever training session, they don't know who the coach is, there's lots of adults around, there's lots of people in sporty clothing, to be able to identify the coach, do you not see that as a real benefit?
No, but the initials, I think, like the coaches are on the pitch waiting for the children to arrive. They've obviously got the kit on, they're the coach. I don't think, if I'm a 7-year-old child and I see someone with initials on their top, I don't think it helps me whatsoever knowing their initials, no.
I think that, in my mind, it's the parent. So the parent turns up, they want their child to feel really comfortable. Obviously at Football Fun Factory, what we try to do is try to help parents, children, everyone feel really comfortable in the environment that they're playing within. And sorry for that face you're really off-putting. And I think it's just a great way to do exactly that. In that scenario, you turn up, you know who the coach is, you go across, you talk to them, you feel at ease versus feeling nervous, feeling a sense of trepidation. I think there's loads of other benefits too, but yeah, I don't think that there's any real drawback. If it is the coach's ego, even if that is the case, what is the drawback to that? How does that negatively affect the parents or the child?
No, yeah, you've argued the point really well there, and now I'm sort of think exactly the same as you. It is absolutely fine for a coach to have their initials on their t-shirt.
I
disagree. I think it's really, really arrogant.
What is happening in this court? Sustained, overruled.
Mutiny.
Well, I was going to say 2 very well argued points, but it looks like Luke sort of conceded towards the end because James fought his corner so well. So, obviously we know at the end of the court that we hand out a prize for the winner. Obviously, it used to be Luke Chadwick's Premier League winners' medal. James and I haven't won that. James then went on a pretty mad rampage of finding stuff around the office, but I thought I would share something that is really meaningful to me because I'm the judge. So, the winner today will receive a pot of my hair gel.
Wow.
Pointless for me.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Chad?
I think that's what he conceded. I
knew what the prize. Yeah.
So I'm very proud and honoured to present today's winner who fought their corner valiantly, Sir James Cutting.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm actually going to give that back because you're going to need that with your wig and whatnot.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank God for that. Cool, right. Well, after putting that on trial, let's see what we really think. Cool, guys. Interesting debate there. JC, what do you honestly think about initials on a shirt?
I think if you're a grassroots coach, there's no real need. And then as I was thinking about this topic ahead of today, I thought, actually, even in a professional environment, is there really a need? So in most professional football clubs, you'd have the coaching team, wouldn't you, kind of strutting around the training ground with their initials. And it is a little bit egotistical. It is a bit of like, I am JC or whatever it may be. And I think there's no real need or purpose to that.
Chaddy?
I think it's absolutely fine, like in any sort of environment. I know some people like it, coaches like it. I think the reason in a professional football club environment a lot of the time is for the kit man's benefit. Obviously the players have their numbers, the kit man washes the kit, and it's just who they hand the kit out to. For some people, I think it does make them feel more important, feel special, but I don't see the problem in that really, as long as they're doing their job really well. If it's within coaching grassroots, coaching children, giving them a really good experience, and it makes them stand out as a coach. I don't think there's not a massive need for it, but I don't think there's any problem or issue to it either, really.
I don't think it necessarily causes a problem or an issue.
No.
So if there's a grassroots coach that has got their initials on the top, it's just that the type of grassroots coach that goes and gets their initials printed on their top, there may be the type of grassroots coach that's actually doing a number of other things that we may not look on so favourably within the sessions.
Yeah, I'm sort of indifferent, really. I think I probably agree with what you just said, Chad, in the sense that I guess it doesn't really make too much of a difference, does it, if they have or haven't, as long as they're still acting in the best way possible, as you say. I think one thing it is useful for is, you and I are particularly bad at this, JC, losing stuff. So it does quite help when you know you put your initials on it. That one's mine. I used to always do the old, you pick a jacket up from the side and you smell it, see if you can smell your aftershave, and you'll go, oh no, that's yours, that one stinks. Sorry, that was yours, Jay. Yeah. But I think, for me, I guess there's no real drawback to it, as long as the coach is behaving in the ways that we want to see within grassroots football.
I think it's probably quite important if it's sort of all the coaches, it's not just one coach that's got it done. I think if one coach got it, then everyone should have it. It's not just a case of someone's decided to have their initials put on it. And I think it's probably quite nice for the kids as well, because it probably feels like a little bit more like what they see on the TV with the coaches and whatnot, having their initials on. So I think it's, again, very similar to Jonny. It's not something that I think is completely wrong. I just think it's absolutely fine. Yeah. Again, as long as the coaching is what it should be.
I think if it is the whole team, then like you said, I think that probably does create like a bit of sense of belonging. It does create it's pretty cool, isn't it, for a young 7-8-year-old to have their initials on their top, and I think they would buzz off that. So I can see why coaches would do that within grassroots football, and then I think if the kids have it, the coach probably should have it as well, because it is part of the team, and they've all then got that. And I think actually parents would probably be quite thankful for it, because I do think the kids would then stop losing their stuff, and it would help with that.
I think as a wider issue, kit is actually really interesting, because obviously you'll have gone through a playing career, and each season you'll have got your new training kit, your new match kit, and it does make a big difference to how you think and feel. There's some people that I always remember even getting a new coaching kit at the start of a new season. It's nice, isn't it? Especially when it's a nice brand and whatnot, and you get to put it on and it feels nice and it looks nice. I think how you look and feel is incredibly important. And I kind of, in jest, talked about the different brands of tops that we're wearing today, but we're wearing that because that's what we want to wear. And I think there's a sense of identity and sense of belonging. And I think if someone feels that having their initials or having a badge or having a number or whatever it might be, name on the back of the shirt even, makes them feel a certain way, then as long as they're acting in a professional way and in a positive way, then there's no real downside to that.
No, definitely. I think even sort of as an older player, 30, 32, 33 years old, going back into pre-season, used to still be buzzing as much as when you was a kid, when you got your new training kit for the season and what that sort of thing. And I think it is that identity of sort of being part of a team. And I've never, I don't know if you two actually ever have, but I've never, as a coach or as a player or coach, had my initials on me, so I couldn't say how it would make me feel. But I quite like the idea of it. I might get an LC on my Super Dry polo shirt to see how it makes me feel.
Did you ever in your playing career, did you ever come back into pre-season and there'd be like a new kit manufacturer? Because obviously, typically, it'd be like every couple of years, you might change from Umbro to Nike to Puma to whatever.
Chaddy, tell them about your skinny trackies that you used to love.
Oh, God. MK Dons. We got sponsored by, I think it was Sondico. The gear was unbelievable.
Oh, really?
I absolutely buzzed off it. You know what I'm like with skinny trousers? The skinny tracky bottoms were so tight and snug. I used to absolutely love them. But like when you get a new brand, I remember, like you rightly say, you feel so good when you feel good in the clothes you're wearing. When I signed for Norwich, your club, on my debut, we played Ipswich. I'd only been at the club 2 days. We were going Portman Road, got all my tracksuit. Kitman's absolutely killed me. I've got like a double XL tracksuit. It's hanging off me.
What brand was it?
I think it was Area. Area? And it was huge. And the same when I signed for when I was at MK. When we were at United, everything used to be oversized back then. The kits were so baggy, they used to hang off you. As time went on, they got a little bit tighter. And at MK, I used to wear an extra small shirt, like really tight on me.
Kids.
Kids, U14 size. Mate, I felt so good in it because I just felt like it was tight. I felt quick and everything like that. I signed for Cambridge and they give me, all they had was an extra large top. And I looked like a bloody 14-year-old child again with it hanging off and the wind got underneath it. It used to slow me down. But I think it is so important how you're feeling, what you're wearing. And I can understand how an initial may make people feel like even more motivated because of that identity behind it.
You think differently. I think differently when it comes to adults and children. So if you think of a child having, like even forget for children how much having a number on their shirt is really cool.
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
cool.
Oh my word, I'm number 9. That's great. Yeah. Or having their name on the back of a shirt. I remember as a kid getting shirts printed with different names of players or my name or whatever it is on the back, and that just felt incredible. I think like if you had training kit and initials, definitely lost properties a benefit, and I'm sure parents will resonate with that one. But there's no problem in terms of the kid feeling special. Then the problem or the potential problem only comes in when it may be then the coach and how they think and feel, because they're an adult. I think that's the kind of point of differentiation for me.
Yeah, but I think it's sort of how I understand what you're saying from potentially a negative point of view of the coach thinking it's all about them and that's how they do. But I think if it makes them feel special in the sense of they want to do their job even better, they want to give the children an even better experience playing football because this makes them feel a little bit special. So I think it's how it's sort of portrayed of what that actually looks like of having the initial on. I mean, I don't know if we're going a little bit too deep into initials here, to be honest.
No, I think that there is a lot of meaning behind it, though.
Well, I think some coaches will just feel really proud, so they'll be proud to be associated with the club that they're coaching for. There's lots of grassroots coaches that take their son or daughter's team, and it's a really proud moment for them. So when they're ordering the kit and it's an extra £1.50 to stick your initials on it, I think a lot of people in that moment where it's really emotional, they're absolutely buzzing. What a moment for them to order all the kit for the kids. They will just do it.
I mean, I'm thinking now, like back to when we worked at Cambridge, sort of wearing kit every day, wearing the tracksuit. It would have been quite nice to have the like.
You know why though? You know what the point of difference would be though? It would be that's what they do within the first team.
Yeah.
So the reason why that wouldn't have been the case is a kind of differentiation between the first team staff and the academy staff or whatever. But then that in itself is quite telling, and then that plays into the potentially egotistical thing.
Well, that's where it comes
from. I'm a first team member of staff. You're just the under 14s coach.
Yeah.
And that's because it is a widely done thing within sort of professional football and has been over the years, especially with the staff and that type of thing. I think that's probably where the egotistical side of things probably comes from, because in the academy we didn't have it at Cambridge, did we? It was just you'd be lucky to get your hands on some kit at the start of the season. Yeah. But I think that's probably where then the assumption comes from when then grassroots coaches do it. But an interesting topic and one that I've thoroughly enjoyed talking about. But now we're going to go to everybody's favourite part of the podcast.
We say that every podcast, everyone's
We're just trying to big your ego up, Chad.
Well, put some initials on my skin.
We're We're going to go to Elsie's Chatty questions. Quick fire questions then, Chatty. You can go first, JC. What you got for him?
So, linking into the topic today, I'm sure that you will have had a number of different kit brands and manufacturers over the years. If you could choose your playing kit, training kit, if you're still a player, which brand would you go for?
I would go back to my MK Dons days with Sondico. I loved it. Absolutely buzzed up. I didn't think I would. Like, the lads were moaning when they said, Sondico are coming over, because it used to be the old goalkeeper gloves, didn't it? The Sondicos with the tyre print.
I think of the old Sondico footballs used to be the cheapest ball you could buy. They used to be like £2 in Sports Direct.
Sports Direct, yeah.
Yeah, but the kit was unbelievable, buzzed off it. So if Sondico, if you're watching, send me over some skinny tracky bottoms.
With LC
on camera. Sondico.
Chatty, you get this question asked quite a lot across socials. Did you ever get a boot deal?
Sorry, I thought you were going to ask something different then. My apologies. I had one boot deal throughout my career. That was Diodora. I still wear the boots to this day. They were like really good boots. But like, I got so much gear as well. They used to, an agent that sorted me out the boot deal used to drive me over to their factory. I used to live in my digs in Salford, and the factory was in Widnes, so it was about 45 minutes away. In his car, he used to fill his car up with so much gear. Like, you could hardly close the doors. At the end of it, the boot was wide open. And I used to take it all home and used to clothe and sort of give boots, trainers to more or less everyone who inhabited the village of Barrington. So if you put into Barrington, probably about 25 years ago, everyone had Diodora tracksuits and trainers on. It's great days, fantastic days.
Cool. Thanks very much for listening to this podcast. And Diodora, if you're watching and listening...
No, it's fine. I've got a bad pair of boots now.
Okay. In that
Sondico.
case, don't worry.
Sondico.
Sondico skinny trousers. If you can send them in our way and you want to sponsor the podcast, then you absolutely can. But look forward to joining with us next week.